see that intro, my intro, I always want to scream my no means no and yes means no. I don't even remember what I was talking about when I say that.
Something on
I
Love and
just
Hip
want to
Hop.
scream out no means no and yes means no. How art thou, Miss Abby?
I wow. Go somewhere. I am fine.
Oh, okay,
Listen,
okay.
I'm doing the best. I'm doing my best to make it.
I hear you.
Hallelujah.
I hear you. So I was hold on, turn up my volume. I was watching that review that that panel that we had, and I had such an enjoyable time going back down memory lane, seeing some of the old people. Hey Dominique, hey Danny, seeing some of the old people in the chats. And that was like almost 2 years ago.
Right. It's been so long.
So seeing some of the people that are still around, like Xavier and everybody, we've been around a little minute, a little minute. Really B is coming. She's coming. She had prior engagements, but she's coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain
When
when
she,
she comes.
amen, amen. I can see.
So
Jesus.
I found, guess what I found?
Oh Lord, we done found the whiteboard of shame,
Because
Jesus.
I saw that I was writing all over the whiteboard when I was doing that when we were live. And I said, ooh, let me find a whiteboard and I found one. Don't judge me. Oh,
Don't feel. I listen. I understand. I remember that time you put the two whiteboards together and held them at a different angle.
oh for Wiley.
Yes.
Hey Ashton.
Hey,
What's
Ashton.
going on? So y'all, we are here today. Hey Monk Chip, hey Boo, to discuss certainly one of my favorite shows. We're gonna have a panel discussion of easily one of my favorite shows. So I know it needless to say, we always differ on opinions on these things. So it's just inevitable. But Abby, how did you feel about the episode?
One, I'm happy the show is back. That's my first feeling about it. We've been missing, well, I've been missing the substance.
It's 2021, is it? Not 2006.
Oh,
Can't get daughter putting the wrong dates and stuff.
I'm gonna pray for y'all strength in the Lord. And I'm at Danny. I'm at Scooter's house, so that's why it looks different. Um, they had to turn this pipes water. They're going into a wall. The water is turned off for the next couple of days, so I had to remove myself from the premises.
I know that's right.
So we at Scooter Mama house for the time being.
Is that Scooter Boot right there?
That would be Scooter Boop running through like he's an airplane, running through the living room. Um, I'm not sure how I feel about the time jump just yet. I'm gonna give it a couple episodes before I have some unanswered questions. What happened to the people? Where
I don't.
where
No, I'm not ready to do the where it's there yet. You know it's coming. Don't worry. You already know.
not just
I did.
where it's
I
airing,
did the
where it's
where it's.
raining.
I don't know where Raiden is, but I have to remind you of what happened. This is before we get deep into the episode. I have to remind Evie of what happened to Shinobi. So if you remember when he got those prescriptions after he got sucked off by Miss Elijah, and he stole the prescription pad.
and he went to the pharmacy to go get the prescriptions, even though he wasn't supposed to.
Hmm.
And then he, they called the police. The police came, and then he thought he was gonna go to jail. And who was in the police car? Remember, was the uncle. Remember, because the uncle had the police working for him or whatnot. And so remember, they stopped off on the side of the road and they talked for a little bit. And he was like, "If you want, basically like you've been caught." And then after that, you heard boom, you heard the gunshot. You don't remember that
I'm in
part?
denial about it. Just let me have it. I'm in denial. I'm in denial about my Shinobi. Okay, I'm in denial.
Listen, I'm with you. Like, Shinobi old fine ass is my boo. I love me some Shinobi. He's so
They
fan.
could have at least gave him a nice funeral, like they gave that one boy we didn't even know who got
Oh,
killed.
Willie Derrick.
Yeah, Willie Derrick
We
got a whole ass funeral. We didn't get a funeral for Shinobi. Live. What's happening?
But I got clothes on.
You
You're
better
just
have.
complaining about me not having no clothes, and I have on
all
clothes.
right. So, oh, because somebody ain't got clothes on over there.
No.
My daughter is. I don't know who raised her to believe that it was okay for her to be naked everywhere.
It is.
I mean,
Especially
it's her
when you pay
house,
your bills. I
right?
pay
If
my bills.
it's
My
your
bills are
house
paid.
and you pay your bills, you can be in your house naked. I'm with her on that. You can be in your goddamn house naked. Not on camera though. Not on camera though.
Don't encourage her foolishness, please.
Per.
All right.
Whatever he said, per.
Y'all not
So
co-signing.
let's talk about David Makes Man. Let's have this discussion. So we start off right. We jump time. The one thing that, and I said this in my review. I watched Ebby's review. I watched Really B's review, so I'm caught up on my reviews. The one thing that I will say is that they try to keep old David just like young David. Like the mannerisms, they try to keep those the same and familiar. The way he thinks about things or the way he goes about doing things, they try to keep that familiar to you, or they try to keep that part of it so that there was a lot of things from this episode where if you did have a problem with the time jump, they tried to um they tried to take you back and help you recollect and reminisce and help you remember. Now it's all still here. It's all still the same. Is even though it's a time jump, this is still David Makes Man. So I can say that they try to keep us with that part of it. Um, Even like the book bag. Um, it's such a Miami thing because I had a book bag when y'all first met me.
You absolutely did. You look 12, but yes. And that book bag made you look. You could have been 16, but when you put that book bag on, you was very much
12.
12, 13. You in the sixth grade on your way to middle school for the first time.
Wow.
It is what it
So
is.
let's talk about David. What is different now? Well, let's go through the characters. What do you notice different? Is there anything you notice different about David now?
He seems more anxiety filled, if that's even, it seems like you'd think he would have addressed some things, got some things under control, but it feels like it's getting worse and not better. Like his
Mm.
anxiety, he waking up, you waking up in a hot, cold sweat. You done soaked up the bed. Like you doesn't seem like you still having those out of body experiences that don't actually happen in real life. You having the auditory clue ins. I don't know if he's hearing that or if that's just us, but it feels like he's hearing it too.
Well, I just feel like David is the same. David, like his mama said, he got bigger, but David has not changed. I mean, he grew in terms of physical stature, but he's still the same David, like his mom told him later. Everybody has changed because you can't tell me nobody saw JG becoming nobody's police officer. There's no way you looked at young JG and was like, yeah, he's gonna be a police officer.
No, we thought he was gonna have the Willie Earl treatment. We was praying he made it through the first season. Little badass boy.
JG was bad. He was real bad. He was real, but you love JG. As bad as JG was, you couldn't be mad at JG. You'd be like, oh, he's so annoying, but you just love. And even this episode, which is why they just took me out, and we'll get there. But even at the beginning of this episode, as annoying as JG still is, like he was, you saw the David being serious, JG being, just freaking JG, just annoying to David. Um, I think she's ready. Hey,
Hello, Red Lip.
What's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. I had a situation,
oh,
but I was here.
you
Is
just
your,
here. We ain't
is
really
your hair
talked about
wet?
nothing. We talked about
Huh? What'd you say, Evan?
I said, is your hair wet?
Yes. I literally just got done washing my hair.
Oh, wow. Okay.
we just talked about what is that? What was my first question? How did you feel about the first episode?
Was that your first question?
Yes.
Wow, you started off like, okay, that's enough.
Like just overall, just how did you
Overall, I didn't like it.
we're on opposite sides of the
Why you didn't
spectrum.
like it, though, Loretta? Why you didn't like it?
I think she still doesn't like the time jump.
It's not that I don't like the time jump. I feel like the person who's playing, and it's no disrespect because I know he gave you shouts out on your, on your review and everything. But I feel like the person who's playing the 30-year-old David, I don't think he's as good of an actor. I felt like he was rushing through his lines, and I couldn't tell if that was on purpose or if that was just how he decided to play the character. Like, I don't know. That whole scene, and I know we haven't gotten there yet, but that whole scene in the boardroom with the guy, it just, I don't know. But yeah, the time jump, I mean, I don't like the time jump, but I'm open to it. But it's just, and I understand we're not going to get all the answers in the first episode. So that part I'm not even tripping on. Like, I know we'll figure out who Robin is, where the hell Robin came from. I had the same questions. Is this a relationship? Is this a relationship like girlfriend, or are they just good friends? Like, I know we'll get those answers, but it was off for me. And I don't like the JG situation, but I'm gonna let you get there. So that's my answer. Overall, don't like it.
So you don't like that he got shot, or you
We
don't
ain't
like
even
his,
got there yet.
or you don't like his 30-year-old his actor.
Oh, I like I like the 30-year-old JG because he's the same, like you say, he's the same goofy. Like when he bumped him on that damn train and then like did all of that, and then at the end was like, I'm gonna tell mama you cussing. What?
That's
That's
the part
JG.
that did.
That is
And I actually
JG.
And call her, and the first words
And
out of his
call her.
mouth, David out here cussing.
Mama David out here cussing real loud.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
I do think that there were I think that and now I think we were talking about David and our thoughts on 30-year-old David, so you already answered that. I think that he did do a good job of reminding you of some of David's quirks because young David had some of the same quirks. Young David was oftentimes when he was awkward when presenting. If you remember young David, when the first time he had to present in front of the class, when he did they did where did you come from? And he talked about the where he came from. He was awkward in that. When he spoke to the congressman, if you remember, when he spoke to the commission, not the congressman, the commissioner or whatever, and he was awkward. So some of the little quirk, the whole book bag thing, the whole smile thing, he does try to embody what we know David to be. I do think that there are some. I think what pulls people away more so than anything, and is subconscious, is that 30-year-old David does look so much different from the younger David. Whereas 30-year-old JG, you can see, okay, I can see that person, JG growing up into that. But with 30-year-old David, it's a little different. I do think Achille McDowell in how he portrayed David was it was in a different it was the same in the mannerism, but there was a certain aura about young David and young Achille McDowell when he would when he would portray that role. And David, like, you wonder, is there going to be is Kwame Patterson going to have a moment like Achille McDowell had when he confronted Rainen in that pivotal scene, and I think that was episode 8. And is he going to have that moment? So I do think that so we when we start, we have David. Now there, that 328, you and I really be paid attention to the 328.
Yeah, I don't know what the significance is, but I definitely paid attention to the fact that both times that he woke up in the middle of the night,
What's going
the
on,
clock was
Jason? What's going on,
328.
China White?
And that's just
I
like a weird number. So it's got to have some significance. I just don't know what it is.
I felt like by the end, I felt like something was triggering him to wake up at that time every day, because at the beginning of the episode, the the um the guard at the front, the security guard at the front desk said, like clockwork, I can set my clock to knowing that you're going. So that means that every morning he wakes up around at that exact time every morning and has the exact same routine. So I took that as that. Now it might be some significance. I don't know if there's something that was happened at 328 in the first season that maybe we forgot about. I don't know, or if something traumatic happened at that time that makes him wake up at that time. But he wakes up at that time every day. I'm curious to know where this girlfriend came from, the bust down. Like and I'm sure we'll get that backstory.
And we took that differently because I saw your review and you felt like that text that she sent him insinuated that she doesn't know his routine. And I take it the exact opposite, because you saw that he tried to sneak past the security guard. He didn't want this. And it was like, once the security guard called him, he was like, oh, okay. And I felt like that was the inside joke that she sent him a text saying, yeah, the security guard told me he saw you this morning. Like, ha, ha, ha. I know your ass be trying to avoid him. He caught you. That's how I took
Yeah,
that.
we
And
took
I took
it,
it
and I
as
took
she
it
lives
as
in the building or she's over there. Because I took it as she lives in the building, because at the end of the episode, when they hooked up, she didn't spend the night and she wasn't in bed with him. That at the beginning of the episode, but we knew she had been there the night before because she said it. So I feel like she doesn't spend the night. So I feel like she might live in the building for her to know the doorman and to know that whole I'm trying to scoop past him at 7 in the
I
morning.
felt like she didn't live there. I felt like if she knows that, because I felt like if she talked to the doorman and the doorman said to him, like clockwork, every night, you always, you know what I'm saying, you always doing that. I feel like if as long as they make out that they've been in this situation, she would know, mm-mm, this been going on, for the longest. And I don't feel like there would be a reason for him. I don't feel like she would still be reacting that same way. Because remember, she alluded to, oh, is it another girl? I don't, because I feel like that would just be too strategic. Like every night at that,
I just took it as an inside. I just took it as their inside joke. That's how I took it.
I felt like it was another reason at first that, and you could be very right. I could be very wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that's how I took it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's the first episode, so neither one of us knows. But that's how I took it.
But yeah, JG, David, their banter back and forth was great. when they were on the Metro Rail, and then when they got off. And now I was curious to see what was going to happen with the there was a very strategic reason I said white presenting on my review because I know how the white presenting Cubans are in Miami with black people. If we go back to the William Lozano riots, oh God,
Not the Bow
William
Wows,
Lozano.
not the Shad
Listen,
Mosses.
I haven't had rap snacks in months, but I was like, I mean, this how we used to roll, right?
Yeah,
I was in 7-Eleven the other day and I saw the wrap snacks and I thought
I
of you.
saw some rap stats and I thought of you too.
Listen,
At this corner
it literally
store,
has been months since I had rap snacks. Y'all look pale. Why do I look so pale?
you do kind of look pale.
I look kind of pale, don't I? Go ahead. I'm
Because you are pale. I don't understand. I don't understand what you confused about what your face looked like, daughter.
I am not.
Okay.
VR verse, you don't have to feel lost. We're gonna they bring you up to speed. Like even if you didn't watch um the first season, they did so many things that brought you back to last season. But it helps if you did watch last season. Like you would immediately go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. There was a lot of the oh yeah moments. Like I had to help Abby remember that Shinobi got shot at the end of last season when he got
Shinobi
caught trying
dead.
to do the
He's
drugs.
not
He
dead
dead.
until
He
I see
gone.
his body.
He's
Shinobi
gone.
dead.
I'm in
Baby, he's
denial. He's not
gone.
dead until I see his body. Shut up.
The
He's
question is, where is
gone.
Dreadlock Kool-Aid Boy? That's the question.
Where is
Raining.
Raymond?
Who?
Raining.
Raining.
His name is
He's
Raining.
raining. And he's gonna be Kool-Aid dreadlock boy
Her name
forever
is
for you.
Dreadlock Kool-Aid Dreadlock Boy. Just like Pez Beluski is pastrami sandwich. I don't care.
Raining, we don't know where Raining is. I'm not gonna jump on my where it's at. Sarah, I told you, Evie, I'm gonna give it 3 episodes. But baby, by the time we get to this good fourth episode, don't be surprised if I do like I did for season 4, episode 10 of Greenleaf, where I had Kevin as
I think we're
my
gonna see.
thumbnail.
I think we're gonna see Saren though. I feel like I saw.
I do think I
I
thought
feel
I
like in
saw
the
something in
trailer, I saw the old
yeah.
Saren, new Saren.
And I don't know if I saw the new Sarah, but I think I saw the old Sarah when they were talking about when they show upcoming clips from this season
Yeah,
at the end of this episode.
but you know how in the trailer it would show like the old, then the new, like the old JG and then the adult JG and the old. I feel like I saw that with Saren. I feel like I saw a old Saren and then
I'm
as a
gonna
flash of
trust
a
the
guy.
process. I'm gonna trust the process and say maybe they will show us this. All right, so really, B, you talked about the book bag. I know the book bag, the book bag. I even have a book bag.
At least it's a sophisticated, like updated, expensive as you could tell. It's like an expensive leather laptop book, but you know, at least it's an updated one.
Now let me say this. David seems to be making a lot of money. David lives in
Yeah,
what
he lives
appears to
pretty
be
good.
in the Brickell area. The Brickell area, millionaires live in the Brickell area. Like you not like I'm good friends with Adrian James, who's a former NFL player. He lives on in Brickell, and his condo, which isn't the wealthiest condo, but his condo, the top floor Pharrell Williams owns it. He lives 2 floors below him. Um, but anyway, that's what you got going on in Brickell. Like it's literally downtown Miami here. Brickell is right here, like across the street to the south. So I was like, okay, because even if you look at his condo and the bathroom and stuff, I was like, okay, David, you over here,
David
living
is
a life
clearly
of
making
life.
some change. He's definitely
Yeah,
making some change.
he is doing good. So this deal with Joe Padilla, I'm gonna figure out where that last name Padilla comes from because I know that last name from growing up in Miami. That last name is gonna come to me. I don't know if it was Joe Padilla, but I know Padilla is the last name that I'm familiar with. He gives me the quintessential Hispanic Miami businessman that is out for self, that will cut anything and everything in his way to get to the top. Making a deal with them is like making a deal with the devil, especially knowing that their history with people of color, other people of color, I should say, and how they treat them and how they step over them for everything. I, and this is the scene you said you didn't like when he was talking to the businessman, right?
The premise of the scene, I don't have a problem with. It was the acting in the scene that I didn't like. Like, I understand what the whole point of the scene was.
Abby, did you notice what she said?
I did not necessarily notice that. It seems like his ticks were on 7,000 during the presentation. Um, excuse Scooter. I don't know why he's screaming since hopping his on. Not putting my grandbaby outside. He doesn't care that I'm live. I didn't necessarily have an issue with it. My thing is, why does Mr. Padilla think that David cares about being appointed comptroller or comp executive, whatever he said he was going to give him? Why do we feel like David has political aspirations? Because I feel like he doesn't.
He alluded to it at the end of this scene when he was talking to Jesse, and Jesse was telling him, he was like, because David said maybe that could get us in on his campaign, and Jesse was like, you want to be on somebody's campaign?
Right.
That's how you knew. No, David got aspirations.
And remember who David is. David never does anything without a plan. Like, there was no, for him to sacrifice where he grew up, there's a plan. There's a plan there. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, no. I'm with you. Yeah, he has aspirations politically. And so, but you could tell the Jesse guy is a flunky. He's only there because of nepotism. He's only there because of his last name.
Yeah, he's definitely only there because his daddy run. Because you notice he said that we'll make partner. Well, of course, me too. So he's riding David's coattails all the way, And clearly his daddy know that he an idiot, or he would already be partner. Like,
yep.
Like, clearly his daddy know he an idiot too.
So I feel like there's going to be aspects of this. I don't see this coming to fruition for some reason. It might, but if I'm looking into my crystal ball, something's going to happen to throw this off. I don't see this happening by the end of the season. It very well might, but there's too many variables in this for it to go through that smoothly and easily. I don't know.
It's definitely not gonna be. We can see from the previews that it's definitely not going to be an easy ride.
And I think there was also a very big reason that Elon character, the nephew, was introduced. Like, I know we're going to see him again. Right. And so the Elon character, the little nephew, if you see when he was told to leave the room, he looked like let's be clear, he wasn't even dressed for the meeting. He really was not dressed for the meeting. I also feel
why Joshua just call us Destiny's Child?
I'll take Michelle because
I'm Kelly.
I'm Kelly.
Wait a day.
I'm not gonna be Beyonce.
You can be Beyonce.
No. I'll take Michelle. I'll fall on the ground, let y'all laugh at me.
I told y'all we was going to pop like this. You can be Beyonce.
No. I'll be Michelle.
Between the three of us, now
me. Now that I need you, wherever you go. That's what Michelle said. Remember when they said emotions? Now that I need you. She sounds so horrible. Wherever you go,
I
she's the
am
best.
done with you.
That leaves the ocean. That's all I remember her for.
Fix it.
She always came at the end, sounded a damn mess. A damn. Woo! That was my imitation of Michelle. Don't do me. Don't do me. Anyway, so so we get through that whole thing, and that'll come back later. So now we get a lot of backstory when we get to Glow's house. We get to Glow's house. She's living with some chick named Robin in some place called Robin's Nest. Y'all saw the girls on the front porch. Well, actually, they weren't on the front porch. And David had this whole, you know, in his mind situation where he saw them on the front porch, didn't look again, and nobody's there. But the girls are in the house. Okay, Mama had her pink hair and and her sheer blouse. Annie, she was here for it. Um, and we found out that Glow did this in commemoration. Well, not in commemoration, but because of Saren and what Saren went through as a child.
Right.
I
Right.
wonder though. My question is, I had a lot of questions after this scene. One, do they allow that in when you adopt foster kids, where you are allowed to say, "I'm only want to do LGBTQIA plus"?
Well,
Like, I don't
you're
know. I
not
don't know.
adopting foster children. You're giving them a
Well,
place
not
to stay.
adopted. I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry.
you
Not
can,
adopted.
yes, you because here's the
Foster.
thing. You can it's not a guaranteed thing, but you can definitely put your preference. If you want older children versus younger children, if you want boys versus girls, it's not a guarantee. But let's be clear, if you have somebody in the foster system and you have somebody that says, listen, I want to be a place for the LGBTQ youth, they're probably going to send all of them to you because that's an easy fix. Because what you don't want to do is put a potential uh, gay boy or a trans person in a home that's saying, I don't want to deal with them. And because there aren't enough foster families anyway, beggars can't be choosers. You know what I'm saying? So if you're saying, listen, I'm going to go through this process, I'm going to be a foster parent, and I would prefer, for example, the older kids. Nobody wants the older kids. You going to get all the older kids because nobody wants them. And I hate to say it like that, but it's the same situation with, kids that are LGBTQIA, especially ones that are more flamboyant or more out. You know what I'm saying? A trans child who's saying, listen, I am trans and I'm not going to not live in my truth. You know what I'm saying? They're probably hard to place. So if you have somebody saying, listen, I'll take them all, that's no guarantee you're going to get them all, but you're going to probably get most of them.
My second question when I got to this scene was, if y'all remember, before we found out,
I got a question too, but go ahead. I'll let you finish. I don't want to.
before I remember the beginning of season 2, when we first met Saren and we saw the mom and the stepdad, we didn't know that was a stepdad at first. We just knew the mom had, a husband. We didn't know at first it was the stepdad. And I remember saying on my review, that boy, that can't be Saren's stepdad because he's a little too light high yellow for Saren to be that dark and for Sarah's mom to be white and him still be that. I felt like that was just me. But when I look at JG's daughter, and that girl to be as dark as she is, and JG be his complexion, and the wife, baby mama, whoever she is, Trish, be that complexion, I was looking like,
well,
she look a little dark.
It happens.
I'm about to say, black folks.
Oh, it happened. I'm not
generations.
saying it don't
But
happen.
listen, but I got a question since we on the daughter. Does the age seem a little off to y'all? Because that's a big, that little girl.
That's a big, listen, because
how old is she supposed to be?
JG,
Because JG
if
was,
David-
this was 15 years in the future. JG wasn't but 6, 7, maybe 8.
Exactly.
Maybe he was like 8 or 9.
I'm gonna give him 10. I'm gonna give him 10. I'm gonna give him 10.
Okay,
You
so
see
if
what I'm
we
saying?
jumping 15 years, he's 25. That little girl. When did he have her? When he
She
was
got to
when he was
be
a baby?
about 12 or 13.
I mean, the age is just off for me.
She looks to be about 12 or 13.
Sorry, little baby.
Well, if JG continued to be a fast ass like he was, I'm
He
not
might have,
surprised
he
that
could have.
he would have an 11-year-old at the age of 25.
What
That
do
And
you
don't
that
make
might not be, he could have had her early, and that might not be the lady Trisha's daughter.
It might not be JG's daughter. He might be daddy, but she might not be his blood.
I would venture to guess. Knowing the young JG, sure, that's probably JG daughter. Yeah. I mean, JG, older JG is a cutie now. Don't get it twisted.
Well,
Um,
I hope they address it because I just felt like that was a lie.
Joshua, it's not like the movie. No. Mm-mm. It's by the same creator, yes. Um,
I think David has a lot of mannerisms of the guy from Moonlight.
young David or old David?
Young David. I mean, we know they haven't shown David to be gay, but I mean, as far as having the mentor, that's the drug dealer, him being very
Now, believe it or
quiet.
not, that's a discussion going on in my comment section about David and his sexuality. And
Mhm.
I
right
remember that was
because
something that we
baby girl
talked
said
about,
something about guys and girls because you know you a freak.
and he didn't flinch.
He was like, I was like, oh well, okay.
But remember, I always used to play that up last season. I always had a question about David. And, David and Sarah's relationship. They always gave you this air about them that it could have been,
Yeah.
something going on.
We had that debate a couple of times last season. Well, not debate, but we had that discussion.
We did. I mean, I'm settled on the fact that David is probably just very comfortable with his sexuality, and he don't even feel the need to address it. That's just how I took it. Like, I ain't got time. I just blew your back out. You worried about me
That's
being
how I
with
took
some
it. I
dude?
didn't take it as
Like,
I just took it as whatever.
even though they talked about it being rough, and I was like, that's not rough by any stretch of the imagination. But that's a whole different story. So Robin, I'm convinced, is the girlfriend. That's the girlfriend.
I think so
Tell me
too.
I'm wrong.
I think
I
so
think
too.
so too.
That's
I
her
think so too.
girlfriend.
I think
Because they
that's
live
I absolutely
together,
think that's the
they
girlfriend.
moving away together. And she was like, "Oh, she didn't tell you." And I'm pretty sure that's who called her when they was at the it was either her or maybe Miss Elijah. Because we never found out who she was on the phone with in the hospital.
I think it was her. Because remember, David said in his presentation that they moved away from the Ville 15 years ago, and they
Hmm.
moved away shortly after season 1 ended. And my thing is, at that time, hell, Mama didn't even have a job. So where did they move, and how did they move? How did they get out the Ville? And I'm thinking, did Mama fire her, a boo thing, and move the churn out the Ville? Yeah.
What happened, Dominic? Why you said no? What did I do? I don't, I don't know what I did, Dominic. I ain't do nothing. I've been good tonight, right? I haven't been good.
You've actually been very good tonight so far.
Thank you.
So far, I don't know if we're gonna get up through it, but so far,
Anyway, I feel like okay, there's a lot going on with Miss Trinice Trent. There's a lot there. There is a lot going on with her.
but who?
The JG's daughter.
Oh,
I just immediately got that from her. All those questions is the reason we needed another season with the kids. Oh my! I watched the real life and philanthropy, and I'll be for child. Child. Which part did you watch? Is the question. Part one or part two, Joshua. Then I know why you're traumatized, God. When we got people telling people to wipe the cocaine off their nose, dear God. after they came back from taking a bump. Speaking of bumps, Glow seems to be doing good now that
Glow
she's
look
no
good.
longer.
Glow
Yeah,
don't
Glow
look
look
like
good.
she aged a bit. Glow look good. Okay.
I like them dreads on her. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I love everything. I just love this. I love the fact that old JG and David is just like young JG and David. I don't know why it's just so good. And so that's what made the next part just so bad. Like, and let's be clear, they were talking about moving to Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie is north of South Florida. It technically is the bottom part of Central Florida. It is slower, a little more country, and slower than the Tri County area, Dade Broward and Palm Beach County. But it's just north of Palm Beach County. David, in one situation, Dominic, I don't even know what situation you talk about, Dominic. I'm lost.
I'm lost too.
But um,
Be more specific what you talking about, Dominique. You lost us, boo.
they're moving up there because they think that it'll be easier. Because when she was like, "I'm tired of running around for these kids or whatever," I feel like Robin doesn't want to care for these kids no more. But Glow is still gung ho, and I feel like Robin's going to try to move and be like, "Okay, it's time to stop doing that."
Mm.
I could be looking way too far into this, but it stuck out to me when Robin complained about, "I'm sick of always riding around all day trying to get stuff for these kids."
But she made mention of the neighbors harassing them.
She made mention of that too.
So I don't know. I took it as her wanting to move into a different environment. But it seemed to me like if you're moving into a more rural country area, you would get a bigger pushback. But she did talk about things being cheaper and the cost of living being cheaper. She talked
Mm-hmm.
about that too.
Because Miami is very expensive, very
Yes, it
expensive.
is.
Um, so we go to the bill. Miss Elijah looks a damn mess.
Yo, Miss
A
Elijah look
damn
bad.
mess.
Do you think okay,
A
please
damn
don't
mess.
please don't cuss me out nobody. I'm not one of those people that jump to the stereotype. But do y'all think he's HIV positive? Because he looks sick.
That's what
I
I
don't know
thought.
if
My issue.
I thought maybe he was back on that shit. I thought maybe Miss Elijah
It could be
was
both.
back on
It could be
was
both.
on drugs or something like that. I didn't get necessarily that it had anything to do with HIV. Excuse me, more
He
Maybe
so
look
that
listen, she lost Shinobi. Her best friend moved out of town, out of the neighborhood.
hmm
You know,
she
she
could
just
be
look
on that shit.
listen, they look bad and and it could be a little bit of both, and they got a little touch. They look like they got a little touch of the Alzheimer's, little early onset.
right. I was like, she seems like she's in the early stages of dementia.
She
I,
told him to go check downstairs on the people downstairs, and the way he was responding to her made me think, ain't nobody down there bothering her. Like
Mhm.
ain't nobody bothering her.
And the thing about it is, JG always loved him some Miss Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
Always going back. JG like we go to Miss Elijah's house. Always, even when he was a little boy, even when David was like, I don't want to go there. JG was here for it from the beginning. I loved seeing him. Still going back to take care of Miss Elijah. Now, the one thing that loses me with the grown one with the grown up cast is I don't remember Shella that much from season one. Like y'all got to remind me of she wasn't the girl who David took to the prom, was she?
Well, listen, I don't know if that's who it is or not, but I just feel like she was just one of the little fast girls that used to be out there jumping rope and shit. I don't.
I think if that was somebody, they would have showed the younger her because they showed the younger everybody to give them the context of
Yeah,
this is who that person is. And if she was actually someone from season one, I think they would have shown the younger version of her.
right. Deshaun, you're not the only one. I feel the same way.
Yeah, Deshaun. Really B didn't like episode 1. She's not here for it.
I had someone
But
come into my comment section that said they hated it. Not they didn't like it. They
I had people
hate.
in my comment section saying
I
the
said,
same
well,
thing.
why did you hate it? Jesus Christ.
And let me say this. I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I mean this with every grain of my being. If they kill JG, I'm not reviewing it. I'm done.
they took me out. Now when JG got shot,
Because that was unnecessary.
I was like, really? I was like, y'all, we only like halfway through episode 1. I'm not no.
When that little boy
No.
shot him, I was listen. I
My
hope he
whole
comes
it took
back
the
after the
breath out of
commercial.
me. It took my breath out of me. I was like,
Yes.
I couldn't breathe for a little. I said, wait, no.
I almost did not come back after the commercial, and I mean that because I was like, if I come back to this commercial and that boy dead, I'm fighting Il Teddy because I will blame you.
Because
I
everything is
blame
my
you,
fault.
huh?
Everything is my fault. Yes, Joshua, I watched the encore. I just don't review it. I don't have the brain capacity to review that mess.
That thing.
I
Listen,
haven't.
let me tell you something about Encore. That thing is some kind of good for me.
Oh, I watch it. Don't get it twisted, but I can't review it. It takes too much. So
I'm here for everything that Nivea gives me. Okay.
Nivea is my spirit animal. Let me tell you that. It's my spirit
Listen,
animal.
from the first
Between her and
episode when she went in
Shamari,
that pantry and got that damn rice cake and stood to the side, baby.
between her and Shamari, I am her and Shamari. I have all of the talent, but want none of the drama.
Okay.
All of the talent, none of the drama. Anyway, um, because Pam, you can't sing no more either. Just like the 702 chicks, get off the show. Anyway, we're talking about David Makes Man, and so JG gets shot, and the air goes out of the room. They knew. I think they knew. I think they literally knew. They had to do something to draw us back in after um after JG got shot because they knew we were going to be reeling. And so they tried to do that by giving us the scene that mirrored what we saw in season 1, episode 1. We saw it a couple times in season
You
1.
know what, Deshaun? I'm sorry, y'all.
He was fine though.
I
He
wasn't gonna say
died,
nothing. I was
Deshaun.
just gonna let it fly.
Deshaun, he died at
You
the end
know
of
he is
last season.
dead, y'all.
He's there. He was so fine. He was fine. Oh, but grown JG is fine too now. Adult JG is fine. I'm here for adult JG. All parts of it. Um, he's a looker. So they gave us a scene. This one was shorter than what we saw between Sarah and and David. I wanted it to be longer, a little long. I didn't say it had to be all drawn out, but I wanted it to be a little longer. This one we just got a couple little blurbs, whereas that first episode it was a lot that was
Yeah.
going on. Although they was drawing pictures and everything, it was like a lot, and it told the story a lot. Um, Deshaun, you just like Abby. Don't remember when Shinobi died. Abby, you want to tell him when your boo died?
Until I see a body, he's not dead.
He gone. He got shot at the end. There's no, we
It
have
was the
no
last
explanation of
episode.
David.
It was almost at the end of the last episode when
It
Shinobi
was
got caught
after
and
got
they
caught
told him
trying
he
to
was on
with
the
the
lip.
prescription, and
Right.
they
He got
called the
caught with the
police, and he
prescription
thought the
pad,
police was
remember?
gonna take him to jail, and the police was working for Tio.
Until
And all we heard was the gunshot go off.
Hmm
I'm gonna rewatch it until I see his body. I'm in
You
denial.
ain't gonna see nobody.
Well, you gonna be in denial because ain't nobody.
Ain't nobody.
No,
Sorry.
nobody said that David was bisexual. There's
His little boo
insinuation.
thing did. She said, I know. She said it could be guys and or girls. And he said, could be. Because when she called him a freak, y'all remember they had the conversation? When she
I
said
Mhm.
just took it
he's
as he
cheating.
wasn't. I'm sorry, Joseph. I just took it as he wasn't about to argue with her.
Right, that's what I took it as. Like, child, I ain't gonna argue with you about this. Girl,
David
I
just
just
seemed
blew
like the
your
kind of guy that don't argue with people. Like he ain't about to
right.
argue
He
with her.
like, girl, I just blew your back out, and you over here talk about me being with men. I'm not here for it.
But
Um,
I mean, we could be wrong, but that's just how I took it.
that's what we was talking about, Deshaun. Now, I feel like the girl has some type of trauma, the little niece, because if you noted, the only person David was able to communicate like that with was Saren, and we know Saren had a whole lot of trauma going on. And so I feel that's why I say I feel like there's something going on with this little girl that we don't know about. She seems troubled. She seems aloof and touched to me. And she came right out and said, because we're weird. When he says, why don't I just say that, or what did he say? Why don't I just talk? Why can't we just talk? And she said, because we're weird.
Yeah, that cracked me up when she did that. She just looked him dead in his face and was like, "Cause we weird." Okay,
Okay, you ain't know? Hello, we're talking telepathically.
Wow, Deshaun, that just really
that's a
just
whole lot. Deshaun is
Deshaun. Deshaun.
Deshaun is giving me a
That would
lot.
kind of be hot though. I would be here for it. I'd be here for a good flip flop, Deshaun.
Deshaun
I'm
is
just
Deshaun.
saying, one more sickening flip flop. Just saying. And then you could bring Shinobi from the dead and he could be added to it. That would be a good little group session. What? Add Dreadlock Kool-Aid Boy to it. Just saying. Two light brights and two dark
That
skins.
boy looked like a pterodactyl. No, thank you.
Mm-mm. Have you seen the real actor? He's real cute. He only looked like that on the show. You see the
Who?
real him, you be like,
Who?
Like Dreadlock Kool-Aid Boy. What? Raynon? You need me to say his name?
I
I'm
know who
sorry.
you talking about.
Raynon.
I know exactly who you talking about.
Raynon is the man's name. Say his name, Raynon. What did y'all think about that scene this time?
Which one where Dad was at the hospital and having a
Him and the
conversation?
niece, yes.
I thought it was super cute. It was a cute throwback to the first episode of the first season. Um, I actually thought it. I laughed out loud when the little girl turned to him and said, "Cause we're weird." Well, it's like why didn't I say it out loud? And she looks, we're weird.
Because remember
Just
when David
don't let
tried
that
to do
go.
it again?
Yeah,
Remember when David tried to do it again with Sarah when they were on their way to the church after that night and Sarah refused to talk to him? Like Sarah refused to talk, and we learned all that Sarah had going on in his house. So I think that was like episode 3. I'm just saying.
when we gonna get
This
Saren's mama? Is Saren mama gonna be aged up 15 years? We gonna see her? Is she still with that man? Did he finally have to start having sex with her because Saren disappeared out the house? You know,
wow, wow, wow.
inquiring
That
minds want to know.
did you say? Did he finally start having sex with her? Wow,
Um,
wow, wow is all I have to say. So David was out of line. He accused his mom of being about the relapse and go back into being a crackhead. But really, be you and I differed. Even though his mama told him to leave, he went back and sat down. If you go back and look, he went and sat back down. And then when he saw JG standing there, that's when he got up and said, "Nah, let me get on out of here."
No. Well, okay, I'm not saying no to that. I'm saying he's right. When he saw JG, he was still standing in the hallway. Because remember, he walked over to where he was sitting, grabbed his book bag, and he walked out. I'm
No,
not
no, no,
saying
no,
he
no,
didn't sit back down.
no. That's not what happened. No, what happened was when he was in the hallway with the mama, and they had their whole situation. He went. He saw JG real quick, paid no attention to it, went and sat back down for a little while, and that's when you saw them back. The mom is sitting down too. He looks over and see JG again, and then he said, "Nah, let me put. I'm getting out of here," because that's when he really looked at JG this time, and that's why the mom was like, "Well, David, you leaving?" Because he had to sat down again and got comfortable.
But what I'm saying is, when he walked over and picked up his book bag and walked off, my only point was she asked him where you going. You told me to leave. That's all I'm saying.
She did tell him to leave.
I mean, that wasn't even a big deal. I was just laughing because I was like, she gonna tell that boy to leave, and then when he leaves, talk about somewhere you going. You just told
And
me.
I think we all came to the assumption that him seeing JG was kind of them alluding to JG might be transitioning.
That part didn't scare. That part didn't do it for me. It was at the end that did it for me. When he came back in from his run, and JG was standing on that damn balcony, crying.
And when he did all of that emoting and sliding down the floor and screaming,
Yeah, see,
that's
I got it at the
that's
beginning.
when I felt like, okay, JG's gone. He in full blown grief.
And I got it still at the hospital. See, I got it at the hospital. Because I know hospitals do that sometimes. They'll play the game and give you some hope that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, until they get to the. I've had that happen
The
to
only
me
thing that made me
several
feel
times.
better is the previews for next week. I mean, he looked like he bad, but he ain't dead yet. But he ain't good.
So I don't know.
I'm telling y'all, if JG die, I'm done. I'm done.
I don't believe that.
Why don't you believe it?
Hell, you stuck around through a whole season of Sisters. So you
Touche.
so you think that I believe that you gonna leave a David makes man and you stuck around for a whole season of Sisters? Girl, please. Two seasons. I'm
Is this
sorry.
Scooter hiding under the covers?
Two seasons. Two seasons of Sisters. I forgot.
Yes, it was 2. Lord, they tried to make it 3. I couldn't do it. I said I can't.
Girl.
Hey,
So, and I was the only one who caught when the mom said, go find some calm.
yeah, I didn't catch it. I
did. I caught it.
Cause you know when they used to tell Shinobi go find some calm,
They
he
meant
had
go
to go
get
get him. That mean go get you some. Go ahead and get you some sloppy toppy.
something.
Hmm. And what was he doing? Next time we saw David?
David was getting it in.
Getting it in, honey.
Blowing that back out.
Blowing that back out, beating that box in, honey. Beating that box in. The only thing that I
You don't know
need,
nothing about beating no box in.
I have done it before. And now that you had those horrible memories come back into my brain, it's triggering. And I don't want to go back down the road with that. For all of my, same gender loving men who are in the audience, if you haven't had any cooter, you ain't missing nothing. You ain't nothing.
The hell you say?
I beg to differ, sir. I beg to
You ain't
differ.
missing nothing. You do not need to go get no cooter. Take it from me.
My
Listen,
cooter's good cooter, so I don't know what you talking about.
it is for somebody, but not for a same gender loving man.
Well, of course not for you.
Mm.
Yeah, the scene at this is what I hope they don't do. What I hope they don't do is that they feel like they need that element of David Makes Man, that they need him to have sort of that ghost character that they had with the guy his first season, and that's
Guy.
and that to do with JG. I really hope that's not what they're doing, because I feel like we don't need that.
I don't have a problem with that. In the same vein, I think of it like when I look at a show like even though it's a different category, a totally different show, like an American Horror Story, where I can look at a different season and it could be a time jump, it could be totally different people, it could be totally different everything, and appreciate that season for the greatness that it is, even if it's, not like the previous season, or
But
is it just a continuation?
but the difference with and I don't watch American Horror Story, so correct me if I'm wrong. But with American Horror Story, each season has its own like theme and has its
Not all
own
the time.
thing going on, right?
Not all the time.
Mm,
There are some seasons that are a time jump,
okay.
and there are characters that stay throughout, and
Like
you
I said,
see
I
them.
don't like the time jump, but I'm kind of over that part of it. It is what it is. I just didn't. I just. Is it? I didn't. I just didn't like the overall episode. I'm sorry. Now y'all know how I am. I'm gonna watch
It took
next
you a
week,
while
and
to
I
get
might be in
into.
love with next week's
It
episode.
wasn't until like episode 2 or 3 until you got into last season.
Well, no, what happened was I liked episode 1, and then episode 2 I hated,
You
and
did
so
hate
then it
episode.
was like, all right, I guess I'll stay for. But I hated episode 2. Now from my understanding, they're going back next week. They're going back to like high school, so we're going to get some of the gaps filled in. I'm almost willing to bet that this guy that David works for, I'm almost willing to bet that's somebody he met in high school.
Mm-hmm. I can believe
So
that.
I feel like we're going to get a lot of that backstory.
I just need to know where Saren is, where Saren's mama,
And where's the little girl?
What girl? Marissa?
Is that her name?
her, and the
Yeah.
one from the Ville. Where's the other one from the Ville that he liked? The little dark skinned baby.
The one that he went to the prom with.
Oh yeah, the one
Yeah.
that's the one he went to prom with. Yeah.
I don't know that we're gonna see her. Cause I'm honestly, I've been trying to remember. Maybe I just need to go back and watch, but I don't remember Shella. I'm sure she was one of the little hot girls that was around, but I
feel
just
like
don't
she was
remember her.
remember the little round girl that used to get smart with JG all the time? I feel like that's her.
Oh, the one who JG bought the stuff for.
Because remember, we saw that in a flashback clip with when they showed
Remember
JG's
JG
mom.
bought like a little.
That's the little girl that told JG's mom, that told Gloria, "Oh, Miss Gloria, you still got it going on," or something like that. And she was like, "Girl, remember?" I feel like that's who was supposed to be.
Did we have a little girl who JG was supposed to be the liked or something?
I think that might be her.
That might be her. Okay.
But remember, she was a little round girl, little pigtail, but she had a little smart mouth then, little sassy. She was a little
Okay. You
sassy.
just helped me. Because I couldn't remember. I could not remember. The Padilla situation, he's just made a deal with the devil.
He did. He absolutely did. But the thing is, he knows it. I just think that he thinks he's going to outsmart him the same way he did down at the Ville with them damn prescription with them drugs. Because remember, he really was the mastermind,
Yep.
and he never got his hands dirty in that whole operation. And he really was the mastermind.
David orchestrated all of that.
All of that.
Back
And
to
I think
season 1. He did.
And I think what we're going to find out is that he's always done that. Like, I feel like in high school he did it. He probably went to college and did it. I feel like that's what he's always done. And so I think this is just another one of his. Now, the question is, what is his long term? Because I do agree that I think he wants to get into politics, but I think there's a reason. I don't think it's just, I've always wanted to be a politician. I think there's something he's trying to do. But what it is, that I don't know yet. But whatever it is, he's willing to sacrifice the Ville to get it done. Or on the surface, it looks like he's sacrificing the Ville. And maybe that's not what he's doing at all.
Yep.
I go with
The,
option two because I feel like he always has a plan for a plan for a
he
plan.
Yeah,
I
always
don't
has
think
a
this
yeah,
is by
plan.
that this meet that them recruiting Padilla and getting him into the office was not by happenstance. This is a long term plan that David has been working,
yeah.
and he has an ulterior motive in all of this, and that goes beyond any type of political anything. There's something else going on that
Like I,
he's trying to get through.
yeah, like I almost feel like there's the double cross is he's gonna convince Padilla to do these condos that's gonna price these people out of the Ville, and then he's gonna put some sort of loophole in there, like a certain percentage of the homes have to go to people who live there or something. Like I almost feel like he's setting them up, but it doesn't look like he's setting like he when I say setting him up, like setting him up to get a better housing situation without and because and maybe I'm reading too deep into this, but El Teddy, you remember the conversation that what's the guy's name? His mentor,
Sky.
yeah. Remember the conversation he had with Sky, and it was probably like the first or second episode when David was going to school, and because you even talked about it in your review about the history of that neighborhood and how it's fenced off. There's a literal wall because the people who live on the other side of the wall are like these, middle class. And you remember that? And remember Sky had this whole conversation with him about how even in our neighborhood, we're not welcome in our neighborhood. Like he had this whole conversation with him about the people around them and that being their space. And I just don't think he would be that quick to sacrifice it without there being a bigger plan. Now I could be like I said, I could be going too deep, but something tells me his plan is to take care of the Ville, but it can't look like he's taking care of the Ville. I don't know.
I would agree, but I think David always has a plan A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And I think with JG getting shot at the Ville, if you remember when he asked him about the
Do
JG
you
getting
think that's
shot,
going to mess him up?
He paused. And it was like he was recalculating or recalibrating and said, "Yeah, we can work that out." Because I think he figured out I got to work this out another kind of way because he didn't plan for that.
Yeah.
So we are into this season, regardless of what she say, y'all. She gonna be here for the long haul. I already know it.
Teddy, don't be trying to talk for me.
So, hello, sisters. David makes man. I
It
mean,
don't matter. It don't matter.
I'll tell you what, we'll do it, and y'all go do this now. Go watch the video and get them views up. She'll go ahead and do it. She sure will. And David makes man. Let's be clear, gave us good numbers last first season. We got really good numbers from first season of David makes man. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, I am looking now that y'all have spilled the beans, and even though I didn't know that they were going back next week, what are you looking forward to for next week?
I'm
Say what?
looking forward to seeing my people.
Say what?
I'm looking forward to Sharon's mama being drunk and cussing out the school staff.
Oh, that was so funny.
I'm also looking forward to seeing if Felicia Rashad makes an appearance at all this season.
I wonder if we find out what happens to Raven.
Can we find
Or
out? Rainan's mama. Where's Uncle Tio? What happened to
also,
him?
we might find out how they moved away and how
That's what I want to
Globe
know. I
met
want to know
Robin.
what happened in that year or two after where we left off that gave them, like I said, when we left off, she couldn't even make rent. Remember,
But
she didn't even have a
that
job.
doesn't mean necessarily that they moved to where she is now.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is the fact that she could move at all. That's all.
I think it was a little more than just a year. I think it was at least a year because if he was in like eighth grade, being a lot of and they're saying that David is in his 30s.
But he said it in his presentation. He said He said, I moved away
I thought he
about
said he was
15 years ago. He said it in his presentation.
How
he's
many?
32
15
now.
years?
He said 15 years ago.
But what I'm saying is he wasn't 17 at, or he was, I don't know that he was 15 at the end of season one. So I do think that there was a year or two from the end of
Well, that's
season
what I
one.
said. I said within the year or two. I said that.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. I was not
Oh,
disagreeing.
oh, okay. I was
I
like, that's
wasn't
what I said.
disagreeing at all. So I do, and so what I'm saying is in that year or two between um the end of season one and 15 years from the present, there was time for her to maybe get a job or things to change and stuff like that.
I feel like, and I would have to go back and look. I feel like at the end of the season, something good happened with her at the end. I don't remember what it was, but we know she lost her job at the diner. But I feel like
Mm.
something happened. Somebody gave her a business card or something. I have to go back and look. I feel like something good happened at the end. I gotta go back and look.
Well, any final thoughts before next week? We about to get out of here.
Hey, Scooter Boo.
Say hey.
He's getting so big, Abby. Hey.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. They better not kill JG.
God, you gonna fight the air? You gonna go outside and fight the air?
Yep. I'm gonna have a whole fight in the air moment. Yep.
Oh my God, daughter. Listen, I don't want them to kill JG either because I think he brings much needed levity to this whole situation and circumstance. Like we need the laughs that JG brings. Cause I don't care what nobody says. I was most tickled when he got on that damn cell phone and his mama said hello. And he said, David out here, cuz.
He was dead serious and I was cracking up.
That thing sent me because that sounds like something my kids would do to me.
That's something I would do to my sister. I
Wow.
would.
My sister, that sounds like something my sister would do to me.
I
can't do it to my sister
absolutely
because
call my mama.
Because she sits right next on the left hand of Jesus Christ, and so she don't do all of that. But me, my sister would be the first to call. Every cousin.
I could see my younger siblings doing that. Yeah, I could see that. Like I said, I'm looking for this backstory. And I remember episode two last year, not last year, 2 years ago. We got a lot of backstory. That's when we met JG's grandfather. They went
Oh,
up to
where's he? Did he die?
Overtown.
I'm sure he is dead.
The man might not be dead.
He
It's
might
only
not
been
be
15
dead.
years.
You know, killed that man. He was like 60 something. He would only be 75 now. Daggone. Rather than
Lord.
kill the granddaddy. Listen, I really want to know. I really want to see the fallout of what happened to Saren's family once Saren disappeared. And did he
I don't
stay
care about
disappeared?
Sarah's family. I just care
I
about
do. I
Sarah.
just want to see her suffer. I want to see her pitiful, like on Skid Row. Now she's living in the Ville, selling $20 blowjobs. You know, I just want to see her suffer. I just do. I just do.
Damn, Abby.
And with the $20 blowjobs, ladies and gentlemen, we gonna have to end it on $20 blowjobs.
I want to see her try and blame Miss Elijah for Sarah being missing, and Elijah whoop her ass in the middle of the courtyard in the Ville. That's
I'm
those.
in the hall, but the Elijah we saw don't look like he whooping nothing.
I know, but if we do a flashback back when Elijah was still in her prime,
Well, that's
and
true.
they prime, you know.
That's true.
We'll be back next week on one of our channels.
Yes, we will. Well, no, we won't. Me and Abby gonna be in Puerto Rico this time next
Oh
week.
yeah, they're gonna be in Puerto Rico this time next week.
We
On the
might be able to
Thursday?
do it,
We still,
but I don't know. I can't make no promises. I'm
we
saying.
They gonna be
might
drunk,
be a
y'all.
lot tipsy though when we do
They
this,
gonna be drunk, y'all.
and
Right.
possibly in bikinis. So
It might not be a sober one, but we can do it.
we can do anything. Anything is possible.
Anything is
Anyway,
I said anything.
until next time, as I always say to my people, Follow these ladies. I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal present and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. I am always here for you all.
Like, comment,
Screw
and
you.
subscribe to the incomparable El Teddy 27 official. He will never ask it, but we will, because we're his sisters. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive